We're behind the eight ball, though, aren't we, Jim? I mean, it's almost 30 years, best part of 30 years since I was working as a foreign correspondent in Hong Kong. And I wrote then about China's militarisation of the Spratly Islands. It's building atolls there for military use. I wrote then about the evidence that they were accumulating a blue water navy. Why has it taken us so long to wake up to this and realise that China isn't messing here, that it really is challenging Western supremacy in the Pacific?
Well, I think it's taken us so long because even China itself, from what I can read, even China itself has only just realised that it can now reach into low Earth orbit and to other parts of space. It can reach out into low Earth orbit and be destructive to our capabilities in space. It only now realises that suddenly, yes, we can touch space, we can touch the undersea, we can hit all these bases around the place, we can force the Americans out of the first and second island chain, their naval forces. All of a sudden, in the last 1 or 2 years, the Chinese have realised the capabilities that they have created for themselves. We've seen their aggression in those areas that you mentioned before, the East and the South China Seas. They're not mucking around. They've just taken them and they don't care what the West does.
Jim, your book is an uncomfortable one to read, but it is. I'm glad you've written it, and it is compelling reading. I must say that. It is your job as a former military commander, to draw our attention to the worst that can happen, which you graphically do in Danger on Our Doorstep. But please, can we focus now on the best case scenario, if you like, the way we'd like to see this tension between the West and China resolved. You write, war is not inevitable, but whether it occurs or not, it is likely to depend on the strength and resolve of the US and its allies, including Australia. The question of likelihood must not be dismissed by the false hope that war is so appalling that it could never occur, or the probability that it's small enough to be ignored. We need a strategy based on the real world, not on the hope for the world it is. What would that strategy look like?
Nick, this is probably the hardest question that we would consider, because we must rely on deterrence, and if deterrence fails, we must be able to win. Now, how we do that, given the fact that we have given China such a start, I honestly don't know the answer to that question. We are in apart from our fact of being able to go back 10 years and start again, we are in big trouble. And if China decides to move, then in fact it can move. So I don't have an answer to that question. But what I do know is that the Defence Strategic Review that the government is about to start working on is going to take far too long. It only considers defence. It doesn't consider the resilience of the whole nation. And therefore, I think it's going to be totally and absolutely irrelevant. So I can't answer that, Nick. Maybe there's another book in that somewhere. I may have to have another look at that issue.